Welcome back to Warrington Basketball. Today we have got another coach's corner, which St Helens Ormskirk coach Don O'Neill was too nervous to come on. Instead, we're joined by Mr. Tom Shubrook from Northwich and Matthew Allerston from St Helens Ormskirk as well. How are you boys? Are you okay?
Great, thanks, Josh.
Good to have you.
Yeah.
Good to have you. Today we are going to be talking about player pathways or player opportunities. So we'll start with you, Matt. I know you just had two guys commit to go over to the States. Tell us a bit about that and what your thoughts are.
Yes, I mean, there's in regard to sort of player opportunities, there's not really that many opportunities for kids to sort of go to America or sort of go abroad or sort of anywhere past college level. So like I say, it was ABL or EABL, unless they're sort of trying to either do it themselves or they're in contact with someone who's got the contacts out there. So, you know, through our club, obviously Dom's got a lot of contacts in America through what he's made by himself. You know, he works hard for the kids to be able to give them the opportunity to go out there. So it's not really just the two kids that we've had this year. You know, there will be more this year as well that aren't just going to America. But you know, there's been kids before go in previous years to you know to American high schools or prep schools and to colleges as well. You know, I don't think there is that opportunity for a lot of kids there. You know, at other places. You know, and you know, I think, yeah, I mean, there does need to be that pathway for kids for that to happen, really. So,
what's the setup with you guys? How have you established those contacts? How's Dom got those contacts in the first place?
So we have, well, Dom's obviously full time at Carmel, so he does have a bit more time to do that, but he does. Over a number of years, he's been speaking to coaches, just sending out emails or, you know, doing that sort of thing. But also, he's got contacts with coaches through like our New York trip that we've been on. So, you know, that's exposure as well for kids, but also to get contacts through that, not just in America but in Europe as well. So, you know, that those contacts there have been developed by him. And the players that he's been trying to sort of send out. So a couple of years ago, we had a couple of kids with Chris and Kalen who were, you know, good players, and he's trying to send abroad. And through the, you know, the New York trip was organised by a Dutch team, Apollo Amsterdam. You know, very, very good level kids. Some of them going NCAA double Division 1. You know, and those, and through that, obviously the contacts came with that as well. But it's really a lot of the time, it's I think it's he has his own initiative and does it himself a lot of the time without having to without relying on anyone else. I think.
Tom, what's your thoughts on it?
It depends in terms of like opportunities and what you mean by it, really, doesn't it? I mean, Dom's doing a really good job of getting kids that want to go to the States out to the States, and it's that we always talk about with him is getting the ones at the right level for them, basketball wise and academically as well. Because if they go in somewhere that's not as good as they could go in this country, are they better off long term? How many of them are going to become professionals? How much is the life experience worth for them? Because obviously it might be better for them to go somewhere that's not quite as good academically, but they're in America and they really, really want to go there, and that's something that's really like important to them. So yeah, I think it's for each individual, really, isn't it? What's going to be best for them?
In both your opinions, what is the best opportunity university-wise over in the UK, in England?
I think in England it's easy because it's Loughborough.
Yeah.
Right.
They're linked with Leicester Riders. They've got a D1 program in National League. They offer scholarships. They're one of the top universities in the world for sports degrees and for loads of other degrees. So they've got really, really good facilities. Loughborough is I would say a standout. Matt, what would you?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of universities that will offer a scholarship to good kids from this country, and I just think it should be an option as well. That if some kids aren't that, they may be should think of going to universities here on a scholarship here, because there is that opportunity for as well. I think a lot of the time coaches don't have the knowledge to know where they can actually send the kids, or where the kids, what the level of the kids are at, or where, what opportunities are available. Coming from sort of going from ABL teams or ABL, a lot of the kids can go onto a scholarship in British universities, and they should really take that opportunity as well, really.
What do you think we need more of then, Matt? You were saying before about how you don't think there is enough. So what would be the fix for that?
I just think coaches need to sort of not push kids, but just it's not pushing kids. It's more like think of what's best for the actual players. So like Tom just said, with players, it's more about what's best for them. Like if you look at, you've just done a recent video on Ellis and Adam. The best opportunity for Ellis right now was to go to that school, because it's for his development and for him to settle there, and especially as well with Adam, his academically, Adam's, he could go to one of the top universities in the country here. Like, he is one of those kids.
Yeah, it's bright.
But that opportunity in America is perfect for him, because it's a very academic school as well. So for those two, it's perfect for them. The perfect fit. Not just sending them to like a Division 1, Division 2 college, where they may just get buried and forgotten about, and and it looks good on Dom's CV, but it's not really about that. I think that's what
about Stevie? Stevie went to Italy, didn't he? What is he at college in Italy, or is he literally just going out there and playing basketball? What was that?
Yeah, so he's just out playing basketball. So he's part of the academy team, and there's a men's team there. So he's part of, he's gone out playing in, I'm not sure what division it was, but it wasn't through an education. It was just going out to play basketball, getting some exposure for himself. At that level, and it's his level. It's not. Yeah. Not too high. It's not, some waste of time.
But again, it's still an opportunity, isn't it? I mean, not every child wants to go and move from high school to college and then go off to the States and go to university. So if you're not looking at going to university, that's probably perfect, isn't it? If you want to still play basketball and develop, then an opportunity to go travel the world and do that, I think it's a good opportunity. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, I think it's dependent on it. And for Stevie, obviously, at that point in his life, that's the right thing for it. For him to do what he wanted to do, isn't it? I know, like, Dom's been talking to some of the guys at Plymouth in terms of the university there, and trying to get people into that setup as a BBL setup. But obviously, I think with the thing going abroad, it's very difficult to decide what is going to be useful and purposeful, because I know we'll know from Warrington back in the day, and Rabba both went over to Serbia went to one of the academies there. Quite enjoyed it. I think they got a good experience out of it, but I don't know in terms of a sort of long-term thing how it works out. Again, it's a lot of things you almost need to like lived experience, and I think like Matt said, sometimes it's a little bit piecemeal at the minute in terms of what we're doing. But with people like Dom are sort of setting a trail in terms of the amount of people that he's speaking to and trying to get people over there. But you always get to be kind of limited to your contacts if you do that route. Because obviously the companies that will pay to get you over to the States if you're determined to go to the States, and they will get you a spot. And again, whether it's positive or negative, I don't know. I know within people I've spoken to in our college that haven't gone over for basketball, have gone over for athletics. They found, because that's a time-based sport and it's not really about opinion, they can get to very good universities and colleges without too much like prior knowledge and contacts and things. Whereas obviously for basketball, it's very based on the coach, the fit, the style of play. Do you know the coach? Do you have a relationship with the coach beforehand? If the coach changes, I mean, there's sort of some horror stories in British basketball. Stuff like if you look at Nina Gaskin's blog that she's done recently about the bullying that she experienced during her time in America. It's one of those where you have to weigh the positives and negatives, and that's difficult. But obviously, that's the same for anyone that's going from 18 to going into the next jump into their life. I know one of the kids from our club is at Stanford University now, so that's one of the top 5 in the world. He's not gone basketball. He's really bright, and he's gone on an academic scholarship over there, and it's ended up costing him less than it would cost him to go to university in this country. But the process that he had to go through for that was really quite convoluted and intense, and he had to really like show out every time. Because he had that motivation to do that, it was something that he could pursue. And I think that's what I think we need to do, is we need to give the kids tools to make the choices and the right choices themselves as we go through it. And having contacts like Dom does is a good start to that, but then also knowing about how to assess and weigh these different things is important as well.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, what's important is, I mean, the kids' education is probably more important than actually the basketball. Like, really, if we're thinking about it, like the education wise, like if you can send someone somewhere where they can get a free education, whether they play basketball or whether they sit on a bench, I mean, that's great. I mean, it's perfect. And I know obviously some kids have gone to America from other clubs, and they've just come back within a year because it's just not what they wanted. They either paid a certain amount to go there, and it's not, they didn't get any basketball, the education wasn't a good level, and they've come back and they're back here, and you know, they're just sort of, they've either quit basketball, they're not doing what they wanted to do. I think just looking for the right spot for kids, you know, and getting the right contacts is quite important, and sending them primarily for education reasons. You know, that's why obviously work in college and things like that is because it's not really about the basketball either. It's more about getting them an education as well, because some of them wouldn't even be in the certain colleges they are, because unless they have the basketball. So it's like, that's a big part of it as well, I think.
Yeah, and I think that's where we need to probably promote the opportunities that are in this country as well a little bit better, and they probably need to promote themselves a little bit better as well. Today I was looking at universities with one of the kids from our college and club in terms of what's available, and even locally there's stuff like University of Chester. Neil Gillard has put together a pretty strong program, a good program with 2 teams in it playing National League. I know Dominic is linked in with Edge Hill, St Helens are. Edge Hill's a really good university for teaching degrees, good university for sports degrees, coaching degrees. If they can put together a basketball program in the next few years, that's a potential opportunity for kids locally that want to stay close to home. Like we said with Loughborough, Worcester, another good one, Northumbria, a good program. So there's lots of good programs around, and it's then looking, like Matt says, what is the best choice for me? Where am I best looking at?
Interesting chat. We'll ask for some comments below, see what you guys think, anyone that's watching. If you've not subscribed to the channel, make sure you do already. If you've liked, next episode we will talk about Bridgewater Jets Red versus Invaders. The old Space Invaders game.
That'll be a good one.
And we'll get the opinions on who wins what on that game, and we'll break down the teams, and we'll have a good chat on that one. But otherwise, thank you very much for joining us, gents.
Thanks, Josh.
No worries.